guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we are once again looking at probably the #1 band in the deathcore scene at the moment, and that is Lorna Shore. Of course, they're back. They just dropped their latest single called Into the Earth. This is coming off the coattails of Sun Eater, and we can clearly see that the hype train, it's chugging along because the new album has to be on the way at this rate. And what has happened since Sun Eater? Well, actually, we got to go inside Will Rasmus. I mean, to check out his vocals, of course. I'll leave the link in the description about that. It's actually a really cool video where I think it's the Charismatic Voice. They do a video where they actually analyze the vocal cords and the flaps of one Will Rasmus. And it's just a really interesting video. Go check it out. So not gonna lie, this video is more likely gonna be a quick recap, as a lot of the things I'm probably gonna say on this video are similar to what I've already said on the Sun Eater video. Because again, they're both coming from the same album that will be coming out. So without wasting my time, we're just gonna jump in. So when to talk about what's new about this, not really anything. And if I'm being honest, going into it, I had very low expectations. In my previous review for the track Sun Eater, I wasn't overtly impressed by it. I thought it was kind of boring and kind of just like the same old. Expectations were low. But once again, Lorna Shore breaks that. They didn't do a lot that was new, and granted, I wasn't going into this expecting like an EDM remix of some sort, but they did make a subtle few changes here and there that have really, enhanced the listening experience of this band. One of them being the shortened intro, which I'm gonna just go straight into the likes. The shortened intro, I liked it. I think it would have been a really annoying situation if the band went once again with this extended intro that we got on Sun Eater. Doing this over and over again, it just would slow down the entire listening experience. So the fact that with this one, they kept it short, sweet, straight into the heaviness, really like that. Well done. I also like the fact that in the initial chorus of this, they tried to make it a bit more dynamic by having the first part of the chorus be slightly more subdued, having less instrumentation, having that small bit of orchestration in the background. Just to define the overarching motif that the song is going by, and having Will Rasmus do his vocal line and going straight into the actual chorus, which is the second half of the chorus, and it just had this next level impact. Absolutely solid. And just touching on that chorus as well, I really like the fact that they repeated the title of the song twice, but on the second time, they chose to really layer that shit up with multiple layers and potentially even a choir underneath, and it just gave this more grandiose, angelic epicness to it. And in fact, this chorus was so epic and so angelic and epic, it just got into me. I felt it, and almost like I gotta stand up. That's how epic it was. And I think that was the first time they did it for this new album run. It just sounded absolutely bonkersly heavy and so otherworldly. Just beautiful. I loved it. I hope that they do it more in the other tracks that will be eventually coming out for this. I also like the small motif they did going into the second verse. It was a very small section where it sort of did a stop-start thing. Really cool, very dynamic, just switching things up, giving our ears a bit more something to latch onto and keep our attention. Really nice. And finally, when it comes to likes, Will Rasmus's new approach to the pre-breakdown build-up, where in this case, he kind of went for this really guttural, very disgusting sounding monologue. Which I haven't heard the band do yet. It's kind of interesting to see how the band approaches the pre-breakdown build-ups, because on the previous track, Sun Eater, it was more of this Emperor-style vocals, very very reverberated in the background, building up to it, while here, it's even more subdued. It's more like, as I said, a monologue.
Hey dog, you got me monologuing.
And kind of reminded me a bit of a Randy Blythe moment, barring the actual disgusting vocals, but it still reminded me of that Randy Blythe moment where it's just very like, you have to go in closer and get really intimate with the vocals before it hits you in the face. So much impact in this band. Moving into the dislikes. But the main one for me was I didn't really like that they went straight into a full-blown breakdown after the first chorus. I found it to be sort of blowing your load really prematurely.
This ectoplasm!
And it just didn't feel earned at that point. It also was very just abrupt. Honestly, I think we could have either just removed that breakdown or just moved it to a different section. I think it would have had a lot more impact because you would have been building up to it a bit more. Besides that, the solo is the solo. I've talked about this already in the previous Lorna Shore track breakdown. Not my favorite. It's just very repetitive, just noodling for the sake of noodling. And finally, the mix, which I've talked to death about since I did my reaction for To the Hellfire way back months ago, actually almost last year even, where I just discussed that Chuck Schrodinger's mix is so compressed, it's so distorted, and honestly just needs to be taken back a little bit. I know they're probably trying to go for that whole black metal sound, and you can do that black metal sound, but it doesn't have to be using excessive amounts of compression. But overall, great track, another high quality track from them, and I honestly more prefer this than Sun Eater. I think this is a huge improvement from it. I like it shorter, I like it's to the point. I like that they did a couple of changes here and there just to keep things more interesting, and overall as an experience, it's a dope song.
God, son, that's wonderful.
And I'd just also like to say, I don't really see myself doing any more track breakdowns for Lorna Shore because as much as amazing the band is, a lot of their tracks have very similar structures, very similar notes, and considering that Sun Eater and Into the Earth are both going to be from the same album, all the other songs that come out for this album are all going to have a very similar sound, timbre, tonality, whatever you want to call it. Probably the next thing I'll do for them is a live stream for when the album actually comes out and we'll listen to it together. But besides that, those are my thoughts on the new song. Write down below, what did you think of the track? And also ranking, where does this song go on your tier list for the Will Ramus saga? For me, it's definitely above Sun Eater. However, I still don't think it holds a candle to the other three that came out in the EP beforehand. I don't know why. Those EP songs, maybe it's just because of the longevity I've had to listen to them, they still just hit differently. And I just find them a bit higher on that tier list. But anyway, write down below, what did you think? Thank you for watching, stay hydrated, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!